If you have watched my recent grocery hauls or freezer purge videos with my weekly meal plans and you're looking to see those recipes I made, or you're just looking for some dinner inspiration, this is the video for you. I have 3 of the favorite meals I made from those meal plans recently that are so delicious, and I just had to share them with you. This first recipe was so easy and so delicious, and it can be made for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. We are going to make a frittata, which is all inspired by this jar of onions. We bought this for a party a little while ago, and I couldn't think how to use up the rest of these onions. I was looking for a recipe, trying to come up with something creative, and sure enough, on the side of the jar, onion, spinach, and mushroom frittata. I have all these ingredients on hand: the feta cheese, the eggs, the spinach, the pepper, the mushrooms. I even have some herbs to use up, rosemary, we have bacon, and of course eggs. We have everything here that I need to make this frittata. So let's get to it. I'm going to start with prepping my vegetables. I need to slice and chop 1 bell pepper to get about 1/2 cup, and any color pepper will do, but I love the red or orange peppers for their great color and the flavor of them I really like. I'm also going to slice about 5 to 6 mushrooms for about 1 cup, and these are portobello mushrooms that I have here, but any mushroom will work. So while I'm slicing all these up, I have 2 slices of bacon that's cooking in my air fryer. I have cracked 8 eggs, to which I'll add a teaspoon of salt and whisk them together until blended. And while eggs can be pricey these days, this frittata was so large it fed us for 2 meals. So we definitely stretched out the protein by mixing it with all these vegetables. Tablespoon of oil in our skillet over medium-high heat. Let's add our pepper and mushrooms. Once my veggies are nice and softened, I'll add 1 cup of fresh spinach leaves, as well as the rest of my jar of onions, leaving them whole but draining the jar of any liquid, and I'll add my 2 slices of bacon that I've cooked and crumbled into pieces. I'll stir my veggies until everything is warmed through. Once my spinach leaves have wilted and cooked down, I'll add my eggs. I'll move my pan around to get the eggs set on all sides, and will take my spatula and I'll pull up the sides, lifting the pan for the eggs to distribute around and get to the bottom of the pan. That way it'll continue heating, and I'll continue lifting the sides until all the eggs are mostly set, with very little uncooked eggs remaining on the top. Okay, our eggs are pretty much set. There's a little bit more on top, but we're going to put it in the broiler to finish off that top. So we're going to add some feta cheese to the top of here. This is about 1/2 cup of crumbled feta cheese, and once I have that on top, I'm going to place this under the broiler, so at 550 degrees for about 5 minutes, and I'm going to keep the oven door cracked just while it's broiling so it doesn't burn, and that's all I'm doing, just to let that cheese heat through and for the eggs to finish setting. Look at that. That smells so delicious. That feta warmed up with all those other ingredients. It just smells and looks amazing. Can't wait to eat. And we're gonna go ahead and put some fresh herbs on here. Let's put some fresh parsley on top. And I have a little bit of chopped rosemary. Oh yeah. The fragrance from those fresh herbs adds the final touch. Everything smells wonderful, and I am ready to cut this up and serve it. A perfect meal using up what I have, and everybody loved this. I really enjoyed the onions, that little burst of brininess added to this frittata, the feta and the spinach and the mushrooms. Everything together was perfect. This next meal I absolutely loved because not only was it delicious, but it all cooks in one dish. And this is something I've had on the meal plan a couple times, and I don't know what to call it, whether it's a stir fry, whether it's a wonton bake, but no matter what you call it, you're gonna love it. It is so good. All right, I get started with the vegetables. So I have here a bunch of bok choy, and it comes in this bundle, and it is a great vegetable that's used in many stir-fry dishes. I love bok choy because it's like a cross between kale and celery because of these ribs here, but also it's a leafy green. It's going to add great texture to this meal. If you've never used bok choy before, this would be a great way to try it because the oven does the work for you to cook it. You don't have to worry about babysitting it on the stove, not sure of doneness. So it's a really great veggie. So a nice rough chop is all I'm doing, and I'm going to set those to the side. And then off camera, I also sliced 3 green onions. I'm going to put those to the side as well as I prepare my sauce. Okay, here's what our sauce is going to be made with. Here we go. 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. Yes, fresh would be better, but I'm trying to do this super quick. This is ginger, a little bit of minced ginger. I have my oven being preheated at 375 degrees. And what I like to do to make dinner quick is I like to beat the timer. So that's what I'm doing. The oven is preheating and I want to do this before it beeps at me. So what we have here is 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. We have 1 teaspoon of fresh minced ginger. Actually, this is ginger paste. I absolutely love this. So easy for quick night meals. And we're gonna do 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. 1, 2, 3. This is pure sesame oil, so 2 teaspoons. This is gonna take a lot to get that out. A little goes a long way, so that's gonna add so much flavor. A tablespoon of rice vinegar. And 2 tablespoons of red curry paste. And a half a cup of coconut milk and 1/3 a cup of water. We're gonna mix that. I'll add all my bok choy and mix it together with the sauce, and we're currently at 300 degrees on my oven. It does take my oven longer to get to temperature, I think, but it's been about 15 minutes so far. These are the chicken and vegetable dumplings. They are frozen, so I'm putting them in here as frozen. So look how cute they are. So cute and tiny. So we're just gonna dump them in here, breaking them apart if any are stuck together. I'll stir everything together so my dumplings are now coated in the sauce, and I beat my oven. When it reaches 375, I'll bake it for 20 minutes. The last 5 minutes I did take it out and stirred it once more. But now it is all cooked. Look at it. It is so good. It smells amazing. I top it with my green onions and a little cilantro for garnish. This turned out to be so delicious. I loved everything about it. The sauce and with that veggie crunch of the bok choy and those dumplings were perfect. As an additional topping, we added some ancho chili crunch to our bowls, but it is an optional topping, and honestly, it really didn't need it. The flavor of this dish was perfect without it. This was a meal that had no leftovers, which tells me it was definitely a hit. It was so flavorful. I will be definitely making this again. This next meal was a favorite because it was quick and flavorful, and I finally used an item that I've been putting off because I was afraid of messing it up, but I finally just jumped in, and we're going to make the Chilean sea bass. I start by preheating my pan over medium-high heat, and then I'll add a tablespoon of butter and a drizzle of olive oil. Once the butter is melted, I'll add my 2 Chilean sea bass fillets. These are from Aldi, and sea bass is kind of a meatier fish like cod. They don't have them at Aldi very often, but I wanted to try something different for our protein. And I love sea bass at restaurants, but it can be pricey. So that's why I wanted to try this at home, and like a restaurant, I'm using my stainless steel skillet, which I'm practicing the technique of trying not to get it to stick, which you're supposed to heat the pan empty first, then add your oil and butter and heat that up, and then add your food. In full transparency, these did end up sticking, so I likely didn't have my pan hot enough. But it's okay, it still turned out delicious. So to flavor the fish, I'll add a half a cup of lemon juice and a little bit of salt, and fresh lemons would have been better here, but this is all I had on hand. So I'll stir that around, and now I'll remove my fish fillets to finish off the sauce. But not before I scrape up some of these bits and add them to the top of my fish, which is going to add a great texture. To the pan, I'm going to add 2 more tablespoons of butter and another 1/4 a cup of lemon juice and a little more salt. I'm going to be scraping up the bits as everything heats up. Once my sauce comes to a simmer, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of capers. This is going to add such a great briny flavor, and capers go really well with fish. Once it's heated through, I pour the sauce right over the fillets, and all that wonderful flavor just envelops the fish. This was a perfect portion for me and my husband, and we paired it with just some leftover veggies from another meal, keeping this lower carb and light. It was so flavorful, and the fish had a flaky but hearty texture. I would definitely get this fish again and keep perfecting my stainless steel cooking. Another favorite because it was a one-pan meal but full on flavor. So these were my favorite meals of very recent hauls. I hope you are inspired to try new foods and end up with some favorites of your own. And go ahead and share in the comments, what was your favorite meal you made or had this week? I'd love to hear about it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.